So we're here today in County Westmeath where Karol Devaney, a sheep shearer from County Sligo, is going to be showing us how to shear sheep, and he's also going to tell us how the season has been going for him so far.
My name is Karol Devaney. I'm a shearing contractor from Sligo and I'm currently shearing in Westmeath here today. The season kicked off probably pretty early this year. It wouldn't have been much to do with COVID, it was more the weather was very good in mid to late April, so farmers started ringing, and I guess we were a little bit short ahead because we couldn't get any seasonal workers either. So when farmers started ringing in mid to late April, we said we'd start knocking off bunches of sheep to get them out of the way. So it was good to get at them. We got at them and we've been at them since now. Quite a few sheep shorn since then.
So Karol, I suppose, can you tell me why it's important to shear sheep?
Well, the sheep grows a fleece back in about 12 months, and if you don't shear the sheep, then there's a number of problems. For starters, today it's, I'd say, in excess of 25 degrees, and it's very uncomfortable for the sheep to have a full fleece of wool on in this weather. They'll be going for shade, they'll be getting dehydrated, and it's just not good for the welfare of the animal. The other thing then is, it's potentially worse, is that they can get what's called fly strike if they have sheep. Basically happens where, it'll particularly happen if a sheep is dirty, where the flies will hatch eggs, lay eggs on the sheep, usually around their back end, and then the larvae will hatch, their maggots, as you've heard them be called, and then they'll basically eat the sheep alive. The Godfrey bone pattern, you shear the belly first.
Yeah.
Obviously there's not much of a belly on this one, but I'll still take it off. Generally 4 blows. It's very important that the 2 middle blows, they've got what's called a milk vein in here that goes down to the udder, and it's very important. If you cut into that, the sheep will bleed a lot and she'll probably bleed out. So when the pattern's very important that you'll go 1, 2, and the 2 middle blows will go 1 either side of that.
Okay.
So you learn that in the shearing course. I clean the crutch then and I turn into the undermine, it's called. You do a quick transition and then you just shear the back leg. Clean round the tail.
Yeah.
Very important that the sheep is clean round the tail. She doesn't get dirty or daggy. And she doesn't get fly strike, is what we were talking about earlier.
Okay.
I'm trying to get as much wool as I can off in that. It'll leave less work to do on the
That's the key area there, Karol.
It is a pretty important area. The later areas will join up with that, kind of like a jigsaw.
Okay. The
last side in that, so it's important. Actually, in Australia, with their pattern, they don't do much around there at all.
Okay.
And it used to be funny racing Australians because they'd get ahead of you on the first side, but then they'd look around and you'd be done because you've all the work done early on.
Right.
You know? It was pretty funny. You step up the neck. A horned sheep will be quite cotty, as in the wool will be kind of just matty like that. So you have to like just cut through it, but you have to be very careful. Yeah, if you're careless there, you can potentially cut the sheep's throat because it's a serious piece of machinery. This, so it's got to watch.
Yeah.
Just into now what's called the first shoulder. Just sit there good. You go into the long blow. This is, on the Godfrey bone method, this is called the long blow. And you're kind of setting up for this blow because, as you can see, you're taking a lot of wool off with 3 blows there.
Yeah.
It's that's where you really make it count. And you hear, all you've left then is the last side.
You have the hard work done by then, Karol.
Yeah. We call it the money side here in contract shearing. The last side of the sheep. And the more wool you've taken off early on, the less wool you have to take off going down here. So. Sometimes the sheep can kick out, so you just reset it, keep it comfortable. Shear off the rest of it. Some people would ask, do sheep like to be shorn? I think it's obvious that a sheep doesn't like to be shorn. It's a wild animal, it's afraid of people, but do you like going to the dentist? That's the way I tell people. Yeah. You don't like going to the dentist, but you have to do it for your health. Yeah.
So that's Karol's top tips on how to shear. Even though the shearing season has finished up on some farms, Karol still has a few weeks more before he can put away the shears for another year.